Bună dimineața. Paul here from Backpacking and Brews. Tammy's right behind me. We are, yep, she's still with me. We are starting day 9 on the Via Transilvanica. And this is the 11th of April. It's a Saturday. And it's the day before Orthodox Easter, which is tomorrow. So we're not sure what's going to be open. We understand that many people take off this entire weekend. So it should be either quiet or crowded with lots of hikers maybe. Who knows? It's a beautiful day. It's about 30 some degrees, 34, low 30s. Mostly sunny right now. We're heading from Tasuleasa Social to Bistrita something. It's a Bagu something. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce it even when somebody said it real slow for me. Sorry. It's about a 15-mile day. Elevation is over 1,000 feet. So we're starting up at a higher elevation and working our way down to a lower one for today. So yesterday was day 8 on the trail. It was the 10th of April, a Friday. We started from Lunca Ilve and we walked to Tasuleasa Social, which, by the way, is the headquarters of the NGO that runs or manages and developed the Via Transilvanica. And it is a must stop for anybody walking the Via Transilvanica. You have to stop. Even if you don't spend the night there, you have to stop. The people are just absolutely wonderful. They're so motivated to make this trail the best trail they possibly can. We had lengthy conversations about the history of the trail and the management of it, with the social interactions, and we actually, the CEO of the NGO, sorry, don't know his name offhand, but he actually sat down with us and we talked with him for a while, and we did spend the night there. It's donations only for the cost, but we had, because we're pre-season, he said the real season doesn't start until 10th of May, so we're well more than a month ahead of that normal schedule, summer schedule. But there was nobody else there, just the workers, no other hikers. We had a sort of a room to ourselves, had a double bed and a single bed, big old wood-fired heater in the room. We were plenty comfortable. It was cold last night, down in the 20s. But wonderful dinner prepared by their chef, wonderful breakfast, and great conversation. It's just incredible what they're doing and trying to take on. But just really an awesome night, awesome stop. And that yesterday's travel day was over 14 miles and about 3,000 feet elevation gain, and we did that in about 6 hours. Had some muddy parts. Had some snow. I think some of the places that we traveled through, we took sort of the Highlands. We're in the Highlands, but we took the higher, the route A that keeps you up at the higher elevation. And at points we were walking through snow as deep as 3 to 4 inches, which was a new experience for us. We're not winter hikers per se. But anyway, good day, wonderful time there, and we had a few Transylvanian beers, which was kind of nice too. Just past kilometer stone 163, and just had to take a shot of this beautiful view. Wonderful. Gorgeous. Fresh bear tracks. Look at that. In the snow. Probably done sometime today. Over there, and then climbing up through the woods. So last night we had a lengthy conversation with two of the people at Tasuleasa Social, part of the NGO, the founder and CEO, and then also another employee, Julian, real nice gentleman. Just some numbers to throw at you. So last year they reported that they had about 120,000 people registered on the, or not necessarily registered, but were on the Via Transilvanica at some point. Not all through hikers, of course, but at least used the trail. They told us that there were about 200 through hikers last year. Some more numbers. We were talking about some of how the Via Transilvanica, how they actually planned it so that it would go through some of these neighborhoods that could use sort of some economic plus or business. And it said that there are 19 million Romanians, people living in Romania, 5 million of which are living abroad in countries like Italy and France and Spain. When the EU opened up, a lot of people just moved away, presumably to find better work opportunities. So many of the villages that the Via Transilvanica passes through, there's sort of empty. We were talking about some of the empty buildings and half-finished buildings that look like they went so far and then just stopped. It might have been some of the people that just left Romania for better economic opportunities. Kind of sad, I suppose, but boy, the founder and CEO, he's got visions of what the Via Transilvanica can do and their NGO can do, and boy, they've just accomplished so much in the short amount of time that they've been around. So really quite impressive. I was just corrected by my wife, Tammy, who said 19 million are living in Romania and an additional 5 million Romanians are living outside of Romania. One of which happens to be living right there where we're from in Maryland, a gentleman named Paul that works at a local eatery that we frequent. Which small world, huh? Oh, so much to talk about. After our conversations with the NGO folks, Tasuleasa Social, one of the conversations we had was about basically the maintenance upkeep of the trail. And they had mentioned how the regions are sort of given sort of ownership per se of the various trail segments, and they're responsible for maintaining, upkeeping, etc. But one of the projects they have ongoing is they built a prototype of a shelter, much more than what you would see on the Appalachian Trail, like an Adirondack shelter, much more involved. The initial prototype, and there are several already on the trail, basically has a park bench at the bottom layer, and then an A-frame roof above, and then there's a sleeping quarters in the sort of second floor of the A-frame above the park bench, and there's a ladder that goes up there, and so it's there's no heating or anything like that, but it's some place where hikers can shelter, either just for the afternoon or for actually spend the night. One of the other prototypes that we saw that's on their campus, and he called it a campus, which makes good sense, right there in Tasuleasa Social. It was a sort of fabricated modular unit that it was insulated, enclosed, had beds, say maybe 10 or so, like one double bed and some bunk twin beds, all inside, a building, an enclosed shelter. And they sort of built the prototype on their campus, and they're encouraging businesses to build them, and you know, they're modularly formed. So they bring all the materials to the trail, put it together, and voila, you have basically a mini hostel where you can stay. Now, we didn't get into the specifics of how you maintain and manage and make reservations and all of that, but what an interesting concept. Paul here from Backpacking and Brews. So of course we got to talk about beer or brews. Last night at the Tasuleasa Social, we asked if they had any beer, and he said they had lots. When we sampled some, so the ones that he brought out were a couple of, I'd say, lagers that were brewed in Transylvania, and I forget the name of it, but I guess it's a pretty popular Transylvanian brewed beer. Very good, very tasty, light. I'm not sure what the ABV was. I'm guessing around 5%, but very good. Came out now. The bottles are like 0.51 liters, so just over half a liter, which seems kind of odd to me. Why not just make it a half liter? But whatever. Anyway, it was good. Also, he shared with us some of their palinka, which was quite strong, and another beverage that was blueberry flavored, or no, cherry, might have been cherry flavored. He wasn't quite sure, and the lower ABV than the palinka, but it's served in the sort of the same fashion and drank, you know, you just kind of sip it in a very small glass. But they're named differently, obviously, for the various fruits that they use, cherries or blueberries or blackberries, but real tasty, much stronger than, you know, schnapps, which is what we're kind of used to in the States for having, but yeah, very good as well, and we enjoyed those immensely. So here's another interesting tidbit that we learned last night when talking to the Tasuleasa Social folks, Julian in particular. We asked about the kilometer stone. So we just passed kilometer stone 169, and we are headed to Bistrita Bargaului something, which I believe is there's no option A or B. But we were wondering how they reconciled the kilometer stones when they had two different options, option A, option B, for example, that we could have taken yesterday, when option A is listed as being 21 or 22 kilometers long, and option B is only 17 kilometers long. So how do you keep on going through all the kilometer stones when one option you went 22 kilometers, another option you went 17 kilometers? And what he said was, and I apologize if I don't get this entirely right, because there might have been loss in translation, but I believe, so the kilometer stones aren't specifically or exactly a kilometer apart, but they're kilometer markings, and they just increase in number, of course, one per, and they do everything they can. He said it's a real challenge to try and, especially if they change a path at any one point, to try to keep the kilometer stones numbered. And he said the logistics of doing those is they carve all the stones right there on their campus. They bring in the artists to do them, and then they ship them to the location where they're going to be, one way or another. Could be a helicopter sometimes, or it could be a car, etc. And then at that point, they bring a machine out, and that's what carves in the number, whether it's 169 or whatever it happens to be. So it's quite an effort to, one, carve these stones, get them and then put them in place, and then actually engrave the numbers on the side. And if you look on the guide or in the app, it shows that each one of those stones is sort of donated by somebody. So it's kind of cool that, you know, as an NGO, they can encourage folks to, you know, donate a stone, and then they get sort of their recognition, and they actually have a sort of a place in history. So as usual, my wife had more information than I do. So here's what we think happens. So yesterday, there were two options. It was option A, option B. Option A was about 22 kilometers. Option B was 17 or so kilometers. We took option A, and we followed the kilometer stones, and they incremented one at a time, and we believe they were at 1 kilometer intervals. Option B, which we didn't take, we believe, based on our discussions last night, even though it was shorter, they positioned the kilometer stones probably shorter than a kilometer, so that they increment in the same numerical amount, so that when the two trails come back together, it's the same number. So option B, which was shorter, those kilometer stones are likely less than a kilometer apart. And so that way, the whole trail ends up being, well, when it comes back together, it's the correct amount. And if you go the longer route, presumably each time, you'll have traveled those kilometer stones are true kilometers. All right, it's about almost 2:30 in the afternoon on day 9 of the Via Transilvanica, and you're tuning in to Backpacking and Brews, and we're just past kilometer stone 177, and we're just following this sort of country road over this hill into Bonziwa. We're following this country road into Bistrita Bargaului. I think I actually might have been pronouncing it correctly out there. And it's, like I said, about 2:30 in the afternoon, beautiful sunny day, about 44 degrees Fahrenheit. And we've got, like I said, past kilometer stone 177, we're heading probably till kilometer stone 185, so we've got about 8 kilometers to go, roughly 6 miles or 5 miles or so. Hope to get there sometime just after 4 o'clock. Well, we just passed kilometer stone 181, and we're descending. We turned off of that country paved road, and we're descending down now on this fortunately dry farm road, which is really kind of nice. So at 181 kilometer stone, we're going to Bistrita Bargaului, which is right about the 185 kilometer stone, we believe. So just under 4 kilometers to go, and then find our accommodation, which is Pensione Rares, R-A-R-E-S, which is, fortunately, it's a little bit off the trail. So we've got the trail, I think, turns left, and we just keep going straight for a little while. I think it's only a couple blocks though, but we'll see. But we're really close to finishing the day. It's a little after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hope to be there before, or right around 4 o'clock, and then we'll figure out what to do. But right now, nice dry path that we're walking on. Really got to appreciate that. Sun's still out, a little bit cloudy, still about 40 something degrees, but great day for an afternoon hike.